Well, hello from North Memphis. It's your new best friend, Efren Tinoco, coming at you from my hallowed neighborhood here in 38107, zip code of Memphis, Tennessee, Shelby County. Um, yeah, Corona is getting bad. It's getting very bad. We have almost 5,000 active cases in Shelby County. And this is in spite of the fact that I've seen some good compliance with the masks lately, but too little, too late, I guess. We have a hard road ahead. Many places have a very hard road ahead, more so than us. But anyway, I'm not wearing my regular University of Memphis garb, huh? A little secret I have to tell you guys. Deep, dark secret. I didn't go to the University of Memphis. I went to Brown University. How did that happen? Well, I graduated 12th in the class of 351 at White Station High School, I guess. That kind of thing might happen, right? Right, well, there you go. And that's what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk a little about Brown. And oh my gosh, not Memphis, but don't roll your eyes. Wait. Don't roll your eyes. I'm going to make it interesting. By the way, shout out to my fellow Brunonian, Oscar Carrillo. 25 years after me was the next Mexican American / Latino to matriculate and graduate from Brown University from Y Station High School. He's wrapping up his medical studies somewhere, I forget, up north. I think Albert Einstein or something like that. I don't know. But he's doing very well. Good for him. Anyway, yeah, I should be talking about. Yeah, we talk a lot about sports. This guy from Alabama once asked me why I was watching one out of 7 TVs in this bar was on a Brown game versus Pennsylvania when all the rest of them were in Alabama. He wanted mine to be in Alabama too, this dude. He asked me, well, how many Heisman trophies has Brown ever won? John Heisman went to Brown. Oh, you should have seen the look. She seen the look on the bartender's face. It was precious. Okay, so anyway, my alma mater was founded by the Baptist Church. In fact, down the hill in Providence from the college campus is the first ever Baptist church in the entire country. The first American Baptist church, way in the early 1700s, I think it was founded. No, it had to have been earlier than that. But anyhow, yeah, it was founded by the Baptists. The Brown University was. Some of y'all, of course, I imagine, are Baptists, especially if you grew up in the South. But the Southern Baptist Convention went its own way, right? Remember that? Over slavery? Yeah, that's undeniable. That's undeniable. Oh, by the way, first ever coach in the NFL who was African American and first black quarterback, one Francis Fritz Pollard. You may have heard of him. If you don't, he out Jackie Robinson as a pioneer in sport, as an African American. And another one of his classmates, I think in the 19 teens, right before the First World War, and the Brown football team was one Wallace Wade. Who was Wallace Wade? Well, glad you asked. Wallace Wade was a teammate of Fritz Pollard's on those teams. From Trenton, Tennessee, the pride of West Tennessee, who went on to win national championships as a coach in Duke and Alabama. Ooh, yeah, Alabama Crimson Tide. Brown is your daddy. Pay respects. What else happened? Oh well, not everything is all hunky dory with Brown. I mean, Brown did, of course, give confer a degree to Henry Loeb, which was the mayor of Memphis during the assassination of King and the The strike of the sanitation workers wasn't quite on the right side of history there. Can't win them all, but at least apparently Henry Lowe probably did not have to cheat on his SATs to get into the University of Pennsylvania. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me shut up. We dig each other like this. Anyway, so whether this Ivy League, it's really not that much of a thing, you know. The Ivy League is a football conference. It was set up that way in 1954 because the schools that ended up becoming the members, who are still the members, by the way, let me see, Brown, Columbia, Cornell, Dartmouth, Harvard, Princeton, Penn, Yale, those eight are all you know, football championships of Division or Division One AA schools, and they did it to de-emphasize football. They saw that college football was going one way with respect to how much resources were going to go into it and the type of student you'd have to recruit, not many of which could probably do the work of an Ivy League institution to succeed in football. So, I'm generalizing. There are exceptions. You know, there are academic All-Americans in football power schools for sure, for sure. But that was what they chose to do. They chose to de-emphasize football, even though they were the rulers of football in prior decades, and even though they were still ruling the world of basketball in the 50s. In fact, most basketball and most of the varsity sports organized by members of the Ivy League are compete as Ivy League, you know, under the Ivy League. Hockey is a notable exception, but you know, hockey is weird anyway. But yeah, so all of the schools were founded prior to the independence of the United States. All right. And by the way, you know, the Ivies obviously don't have, and the North doesn't have a monopoly on proud old schools. In fact, you want to consider some of the oldest schools in the country are, in fact, the public universities or large private institutions set up in the other of the 13 colonies, right? We're talking William and Mary. We're talking the Delaware. We're talking North Carolina, Georgia, and the University of Tennessee, that was basically founded the year that Tennessee became a state in 1796, the eastern part of the state, of course, because the western part of the state was populated by Spanish soldiers. They don't tell you that, but it's true. Yeah, so there was there was a role for higher education, whether you was a free school, then there was general interest school, or a teacher school, or a seminary. You know, a lot of these schools that I mentioned, in and out of the Ivy League, were founded by to advance either civilization as a whole or specific people, prepare people for specific roles in society. One exception to the year was founded was Cornell. Cornell was founded basically the year the Civil War ended in 1865. And as an Ivy League school. But I would tell you that had Cornell been founded in the South, it wouldn't be a member of the Ivy League, and also it probably would not be as rigorous as it is right now, because by that time, just the South was not about anything intellectual, especially the Mid-South on this side of the Appalachians, with people farming their own cotton and people not needing immigration or universities or infrastructure in order to get their product to market in a profitable way. You didn't have to make it, and you didn't have to be anybody to make it in the South. You had just had to work your land and pick your cotton. The cotton was so expensive. But anyway, Cornell, yeah. Name a famous graduate of Cornell. Not Carl Sagan. Not Kurt Vonnegut. Oh, Anthony Fauci. Anthony Fauci went to Cornell. He was number one in his class. Anthony Fauci was number one in his class. And while I mentioned Anthony Fauci, I always have to say, let's recall back in March that the Ivy League had canceled its qualifying tournament for the big dance in basketball and was the first one to do so. And all of a sudden, you found the AAC did it, and all the kids had to come back from the University of Memphis, back from Fort Worth, Texas, where the tournament was held, basically while they were getting ready for their first game. And let's recall also just back in July, the Ivy League was the first one to cancel all fall sports. I guess maybe postpone football. No, there's no reason to do it. Now that they had de-emphasized football, it's like, why have it? Why endanger our kids? Why endanger our teachers, our students, our faculty, our staff, or or our broader communities and their families? All these young, non-compliant, happy-go-lucky 20-somethings. It's a petri dish. It's going to be an absolute petri dish. Okay, they interviewed the commissioner of the SEC last week. About SEC football, how optimistic he was going to be about SEC having a football schedule. He says, "Will the Ivy League influence what you do?" He says, "No, they're not going to influence." Sorry, I would say bullshit, but that would be rude. That would be very rude. No, of course it is. Of course it is. Because they signal what is proper. They signal what the right thing to do is. Because they don't have the economic interests that everybody else does. But now that they have said, no, we're not going to have it, and some kid dies, or some person who the kid had given the disease to dies, or has compromised immune systems, or now compromised breathing or lung function or whatever, digestive system had gone impotent or something, I don't know. They bucked the example set by the Ivy League, so there you go. You got legal liability, right? Well, anyhow, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised they're trying. The University of Memphis is trying to have its football season. And its basketball season. Four of the 12 or so guys on the roster have tested positive for COVID. That's tough. That's really tough. Really, really tough. Anyhow. But anyway. Look. People don't owe you. They don't owe you a football season. These kids aren't getting paid. They're getting room and board, but they're not getting properly compensated for the risk they're undertaking to entertain us and have the coach justify his millions of dollars in salary. Nope. Okay. And all this call for schools to open. They're letting these people out of jail because of the risk of catching COVID, but they want schools to open? Really? Really? Okay, let's be real. Who is pushing this? What is the economic interest that is calling for us to risk death for their benefit? Okay? It is the National Restaurant Association, who's lobbying a lot of these guys to speak ridiculously about the virus. Why? Because, of course, they want to open and open fully. These are the same folks who way back in the negotiated $2.15 per hour wages plus tips. It's those guys who give us that. Especially the big chain members of the National Restaurant Association are looking for this because, of course, their earnings are very compromised and they give a lot of money to political campaigns. You want to risk for them? How about the education lobby? How all the charter schools? Madame Betsy DeVos with her bad bronze tan that you've seen her with. She got that savage tan going on. Probably one of her 7 yachts spent a little on her 7 yachts, but no plan. Some people are saying, yeah, the pediatrics people are saying, oh yeah, well the kids, yeah, it's really hard on the kids. It's hard on the kids to not go to school and establish that routine to be cooped up at home and so on and so on. Yes, it is. I'm not nobody's saying that's not a thing. But another guy saying, well, it's worth it. If 1 or 2% of the children get sick from this,